Ladies and gentlemen, could I please ask you to be upstanding? Thank you.
If tears could build a stairway and memories a lane, we'd walk right up to heaven and bring you back again. It broke our hearts to lose you, but you did not go alone, for part of us went with you the day God called you home. God looked around his garden and he found an empty place. Then he looked down upon the earth and he saw your precious face. He put his arms around you and he lifted you to rest. God's garden must be beautiful. He always takes the best. Yes, he always takes the best.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated.
We knew that you were suffering. We knew you were in pain. We knew you'd never get well on this earth again. So he closed your weary eyes and he whispered, peace be thine. Then he took you up to heaven, so gentle and so kind. God looked around his garden and he found an empty place. Then he looked down upon the earth and he saw your precious face. He put his arms around you and he lifted you to rest. God's garden must be beautiful. He always takes the best. Oh, God's garden must be beautiful. He always takes the best.
I welcome everyone who has gathered here in the chapel today and those who have joined us via live stream as we come together to celebrate and give thanks for the life of Bruce William Foster. He was husband to Margaret, who has predeceased him, stepfather to her children, Anne, Peter, and Martin, Poppy to Kylie, Felicia, Shanna, Ashley, Matthew, Jessica, and Benjamin, and to their children, Hayden, Samuel, Caitlin, William, Lachlan, and Grace Ann. I think I've got you all. Good. He was uncle to his sister Wilma's children. This is a time of mixed emotions as we remember this very special person and give thanks that Bruce has been part of our lives. We will support each other in this time of grief and sorrow. And we will also lay Bruce's earthly body to rest, something he no longer has any use of. We've come to say our farewells for now, confident that Bruce is at rest. He is free from life's struggles and has begun eternity in the life beyond our vision. As we gather to say our goodbyes, we struggle sometimes with him not being physically present with us. But we want to go on strengthened in the love and friendship that he shared with you all. So perhaps because it's not easy, this reading might help us to put Bruce's life in context. It's entitled A Time for Everything. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them up, a time to embrace and a time to refrain, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. It is this perfect peace that Bruce is now able to embrace and enjoy. We've come to celebrate his life, so let's at this time hear some of his life story as Anne brings it to us. Thanks, Anne.
Bruce William Foster, born the 13th of October 1930 in New South Wales, Blaney, to Mary and Leslie Foster. He had one sister, Wilma, now deceased. Bruce leaves behind Peter, Martin and myself and our partners, Lee, Kelly and Joe. He leaves his grandchildren, Kylie, Felicia, Shanna, Ashley, Matthew, Jessica and Ben, and their partners, Anthony, Garth and Ben, and his much adored great-grandchildren, Hayden, Samuel, Caitlin, William, Lachlan and Grace Ann. Bruce went to school in Blaney and Bathurst, but left school at 15. School was not his forte. He moved to Goulburn, where he did a painter's apprenticeship and joined the railway as a signalman. He lived in a boarding house owned by the Harris family, and Bruce and their son David became lifelong friends, sharing their love of race cars. David often came to Sydney to meet up with Bruce at the car races, but their ultimate trips were to Mount Panorama. When they weren't there, they were glued to the TV to watch the race. At Christmas 1968, Bruce's sister Wilma took him to a Christmas tennis party to meet my mum, and they married in March 1969. Bruce had a variety of jobs over the years. He was a painter, a signalman, he worked for Stewart and Lloyd's, he was a courier and a postman. In the early 70s, Mum and Bruce toured around in an old Valiant, towing a silver and yellow caravan. Laddie the collie always went along. I remember Bruce and Mum, after a trip to Darwin, saying if they ever heard we all live in a yellow submarine again, it would be way too soon. Martin had evidently sung it constantly. There were many trips in that old van. I'm not sure how they ever made their way home because Bruce had the worst sense of direction. And there's a standing joke amongst the family that Bruce never went to Bathurst the same way twice, so I'm not sure how he ever got anywhere. Bruce loved his collie Laddie, and then came Socks and Corky. Corky was the scruffiest mutt that you have ever seen, but Bruce loved him. For many years, Bruce, who loved Christmas, as you can tell, he played Santa at preschools, schools and functions. He just loved it, and he went to great lengths to disguise himself to make sure that my girls never recognised him, and they didn't, and that made it all the more special for him. Many years ago, I bought him a very bright Hawaiian shirt as a joke, but it backfired. And in summer, he wouldn't wear any of the shirts but them. Some of us have some of his favourites on today in his memory. Bruce loved to go away with Joe in the truck, travelling to all sorts of places, picking up, delivering furniture, and he was very sad when his hips no longer let him climb in and out of the truck. When my girls were little, Bruce used to take them to deliver the Manly Daily, which was the local paper in Mona Vale, in the school holidays. If it was raining, he'd say, "It's raining. I'll do the deliveries," but they always got the money. He would take them down to the shops for something that was desperately needed at the shops, only to buy them ice cream cones, always a double. And he could always find a glass of cordial, a biscuit for any of the grandkids without their parents knowing. Bruce loved his bingo, his indoor and outdoor bowls, and he even won a few trophies. He loved his TV, and his favourite show was Home and Away. He watched it from day one and even joined the granddaughters in their fan club. When Bruce and Mum came up the coast to live with me, he loved to sit on the front veranda. He'd talk to anybody who stopped to have a chat, and he loved to watch the children all coming and going to school. 18 months after losing our mum, Bruce had to go into care. He loved to play bingo, and he would ring me to come and get the chocolates he'd won for the kids. He always had a hat for every occasion, getting Grace Ann to make them for him. I'm not sure who got the most pleasure, him or her. Christmas was Bruce's favourite time of the year. He had a 4-foot Santa that took pride of place in his room. Every year in November he'd start asking, "Is my Santa ready?" Then he'd move on, "Have I got Christmas shirts?" And most importantly, his Christmas hat. On December the 1st, they all went over to the nursing home and he wore them every single day. I'm sure the home won't miss his loud singing of Christmas carols. The Christmas hat on Bruce's casket is for his love of Christmas, and this hat was his very favourite. The piece of metal was from Bathurst 2021 because William had inherited his love of race cars and went to Bathurst for the race, and that's off the KFC race car, an Audi R8 I'm told, that William brought back to give to Poppy. Bruce was a man with a brash exterior, but his heart was made of gold. Rest in peace, Bruce. You're now out of pain, in a better place. Enjoy your coffee, your biscuits and your fruitcake with Mum.
What a great tribute to a wonderful man. Well, we've heard some of Bruce's life story, but now we're going to watch some of it. And while we watch some of these pictures, I invite you to think of those special times that you shared with Bruce and take this opportunity to say your own quiet farewell to him.
Tell me, what does it look like in heaven? Is it peaceful? Is it free like they say? Does the sun shine bright forever? Have your fears and your pain gone away? 'Cause here on earth it feels like everything good is missing since you left. And here on earth everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I hope you're dancing in the sky, and I hope you're singing in the angels' choir, and I hope the angels know what they have. I bet it's so nice up in heaven since you arrived. So tell me, what do you do up in heaven? Are your days filled with love and light? Is there music? Is there art and adventure? Tell me, are you happy? Are you more alive? 'Cause here on earth it feels like everything good is missing since you left. And here on earth everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I hope you're dancing in the sky, and I hope you're singing in the angels' choir, and I hope the like they say.
I'm sure that you had recalled some special times you had with Bruce, and watching some of those photos, you're probably thinking, what was going on there? And you'll want to know. You'll have an opportunity to share your stories and find out other stories over refreshments in the cafe just on the other side of the car park here today, and you're all invited to share those memories with the family at the conclusion of the service. As we heard, Bruce was a loved poppy, and his great-granddaughter Grace Ann is going to come and share a special poem with us now.
Grandpa's gone to heaven. One quiet day the angels came and took Grandpa far away. But in the stillness of the night I could almost hear him say, "Dear grandchild, I will miss you. You mean so much to me. But Jesus called me to his side, in heaven I will be. A place of God's great beauty, no tears or earthly cares, only peace and joy forever, and love beyond compare. So remember all the good times, don't think about the sad, treasure all the special moments through the years we've always had. And if you trust in Jesus, I can promise this and more, you'll get a hug from Grandpa someday on heaven's golden shore."
Thank you for that, Grace Ann. That was a lovely tribute to your poppy. As we prepare to say farewell to Bruce, I remind you that to recall Bruce's unique gifts and personality. Be thankful for the way he embraced and cared for Scruffy and all the other stray dogs. Didn't matter what they looked like. He would embrace them and love them. He delighted in spending time with his grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and you were his. For the times that he went to the store with you to get those essential things, but knowing you'd return home having had that double-scooped ice cream cone, those extra biscuits and cordial that you always had without parents or even Margaret knowing. Think about the way he enjoyed playing bingo, especially when he won the chocolates. And I'm sorry, there'll be no more chocolates for you. You'll have to buy your own. Be thankful for his kind of gruff, rough, cranky exterior. But knowing him as you did, inside he was just a softie, a big teddy bear, offering you love and care and support. Remember Bruce as one of you in that way, with the laughter and the twinkle, his love of Christmas, his love of motor racing, his love of TV, but most of all, his love and the friendship that he offered to each one of you. But now be thankful that Bruce is free of the struggles, the challenges, and the restrictions of this life. Weakness is overcome, and death itself is conquered. As we come to that moment of farewell, I remind you that to love someone is to risk the pain of parting, and the emotions we now experience, grief, thankfulness, regret, indebtedness, frustration, fear for the future, or a sense of hope, all of these belong to the honouring of love. I invite you, if you are able, to please stand. It has been said, when people die, no one understands, and sometimes no one even cares. But when they die, no calamity can hurt them. In death they find rest and peace. And now we release Bruce's spirit to the universe, to roam free, knowing complete peace and happiness now and forevermore. Having released his spirit, we now commit his body, for which he no longer has any earthly use, to the elements which are gentle to us in our time of passing, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, in sure and certain hope that we will meet again one day in that realm beyond our vision. You may be seated. As we go forward, may we remember that Spirit is in life and death, in joy and sorrow. It is profoundly present in every single sacred breath we take. Laughter is the light that can pierce that deepest darkness. And finally, love is an energy that cannot be destroyed. Love truly is forever. So let us demonstrate Bruce's love by sharing his love with those we engage with, and in that way, his spirit and his love continues to make this world a better place. In a moment, we will make our way from here to the cafe over on the other side of the car park to share your memories and your stories of Bruce with the family and one another. The family, as they leave, will place a floral tribute, and then you're asked to follow them. And I'm wondering how many of you are going to be able to sit still while you do this, because we're going to leave with a song that Bruce loved. What else could we have with his love of Christmas than Jingle Bells? I knew he'd get a laugh from you today. Thank you for joining us here today, and share with the family your special memories of Bruce, perhaps of Christmas and Jingle Bells.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bright was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lank, misfortune seemed his lot. He got into a drifted bank, and then we got upset. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, the story I must tell. I went out on the snow.
If anyone else would like to place a flower or come say farewell, please feel free to do
was
so.
riding by in a one-horse open sleigh. He laughed as their eyes sprawling light, but quickly drove away. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Now the ground is wide, go it while you're young. Take the girls tonight and sing this sleighing song. Get a bobtail day, 240 at his speed. Hitch him to